Hi everybody, and I'm back for another rant video. This is a topic that I could have made any time over the past 10 years. It's always a good subject, and it's one that I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. And I hope there are not too many people out there that are going to be sensitive about this, because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that do this kind of thing for a living. I'm going to talk about that being waiters and waitresses. Is that okay to say waitresses, or is it servers? I'll say servers. I don't want to, offend anybody. I don't know if it's still applicable to say waitresses, but anyway, we're going to talk about tipping. Okay, I probably talked about this a little bit in the past. I feel like there's a little deja vu in a way. I don't know, but before I get started, let's get one thing perfectly clear. I do believe in tipping, and I do tip. And sometimes I tip beyond the standard expected amount, depending on the service. So this is not me saying I don't believe in tipping per se. That is, as long as the service is good and as long as the service is just overall pleasant, and especially if somebody goes above and beyond. When somebody goes above and beyond, I go above and beyond. I leave even more. So you can make a few extra bucks with me if you go even beyond. A really nice server who really takes care of the customer and is on top of everything, is there to see if you want anything else, doesn't leave you waiting too long, gets the order right, doesn't, give you the wrong thing. All that is a plus with me, okay? Now, here's the thing about tipping, though, and what really inspired me to do this video now of all times. I just read online of a story where recently somebody had a meal at a diner, I believe, or some restaurant. And instead of leaving a cash tip, this person decided that he would leave a $25, I think it was an Amazon gift card. Well, the server would have none of that. I need to pay my bills. I can't use a gift card, this person was flailing off about. I want cash. Well, you don't have a choice. That's what I'm going to say here. What gets me about this is that people think they're entitled, you see. That's what gets me. Tipping has become a feeling of entitlement, that you're entitled to a tip, regardless of your level of service, or if you're any good, or you're lazy, or you make mistakes, or you make people wait like, half an hour more than they want to be there. And to me, no. It's not a right. It's a privilege, a tip. And a long time ago, I read the origin of the word tip, T-I-P, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I think I remember hearing that tip means to ensure promptness, which basically means, you have to work for it. It's not just something that's understood. Now, I said at the beginning of this that I believe in tipping, that I give tips, sometimes generously so. However, the thing with me is, again, don't just expect it and not have to do anything for it. Sometimes you'll get people that'll come up there and they have an attitude. They look like they don't want to be there. And you know this story. Maybe they make mistakes. Hey, we're all human. We make mistakes, but it irks me when it's something like, let's just say, say you're ordering pancakes, say, and you want some syrup. Say, can I have the syrup, please? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll get you the syrup. And they walk away. Then they get distracted and go over to some other table. They forget about your syrup. Which isn't really the end of the world, except things happen like, well, the person you're with, if you're sitting there with somebody else, they're eating their meal already, and you're sitting there alone. You'd like to eat together, right? And by the time they arrive with the syrup, your pancakes are ice cold. That's not good. You still want a full tip for that? I mean, I give the full tip anyway, folks. Yeah. I have to admit it. I have to confess. I give the full tip anyway. Why do I give the full tip anyway? Because especially if it's a place that I go to regularly, I'm not stupid. I'm not going to have them spit in my food the next time I go there or pee in my lemonade. I'm not going to let them do that. So obviously, I am going to not make a stink, and I'm going to be, I'm very nice to servers, because especially if it's a place I go to regularly, I don't want to be on their crap list. So I do it, But, there's so many things that are so annoying. How many times, as I say, they're not paying attention. Sometimes you'll want something and you're like, oh, excuse me, you hold me, and they don't even know you're there. Now, I've never been a waiter before, but I would imagine that if my job was to wait on tables, one of the things I would do, knowing my personality, is I would consistently be looking over, like, watching over there, watching over there. Like, I have an eye on all my tables, just in case anybody had their hand up, These people couldn't care. They're walking around. They don't even look at them like, oh, you know. And then I love at the end of the meal when you'd like to get out of there and you have the urge to be somewhere or what, or if you just don't want to sit around, you know, they take forever to come with the check, you know. And I call that being held hostage. You have somewhere to go, or maybe you just want to get up and go start your day, go about your business, and you're sitting there beyond your will like a prisoner, being held hostage. Now, I'm making this sound funny, but, you know, it reminds me of a movie, you know. There's a movie called Reservoir Dogs. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. If you haven't, it's worth seeing at least for the first scene. Check out Reservoir Dogs and watch the opening scene. It has to do with a bunch of men that are sitting around a table, and it's time to pay the waitress. And one guy, played by Steve Buscemi, says, "I'm not going to tip. I don't believe in it." And they get into this big thing about, what do you mean you don't believe in tipping? And they're saying, you know, this woman doesn't make hardly any money here. And Steve Buscemi says, well, you know, it's not my fault. She should work somewhere else. I don't. It's not my problem that she chose to work here. As funny as that may be, and ironic and everything, it's true, you know. So, I mean, if you're not making enough money here, go somewhere else. You know. That said, you know, I'm going to take care of you, though. You know, as I say, if not out of just watching my own backside, I'll do it because you deserve it and give you even more. Now, when it comes to the actual tip, I'm known to double the tax. Someone told me many years ago when I was very young, maybe my grandfather, I don't know who, somebody said to me, well, when you tip, what you do is take the tax and double it. So let's suppose I have a bill, and the tax on the bill is $4.80. I always round it up to the next dollar, so I'll figure that $5, okay? And then I'll give them $10. If it's a $4.80 tax, I'll give you a $10 tip. I'll round it up to 5 and I'll double it. To me, I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm not good with percentages, I think that's above the 15% minimum. And that's another thing I love, you know, minimum. Well, you know, sometimes you'll get your bill and it'll say, here's the recommended, they actually tell you what to tip. It'll say on the bottom, 15% equals, 18% equals, 20% equals. Hey, look, I'll tip what I want, you know. Yeah, I'm going all over the place here, but you know what I mean? It's like, where is it said that you're guaranteed a tip? Doesn't matter whether you just don't even want to be there. Doesn't matter whether you're lousy, whether the food's lousy. And the food, I understand the food being lousy isn't the fault of the server. It's the fault of the cook. But I'm just saying, you know, I don't get that either. Another thing I don't understand about tipping these days is, what I've been coming across more and more is that someone comes over to take your order. Someone comes over and gives you your glass of water or whatever and starts. And then as the meal goes on, different servers come over to help. The original person who came over to take your order, who you think is going to be your server, actually has somebody else filling in. So when I tip at the end, who gets it? Does the first person get the tip? Does the second person get the tip? Do they split it? I don't, it's too complicated. You know, it's all over the place. Well, anyway, you know, it's all over the place, and I really, really just wish it was a lot easier. You know, basically my beef is, don't think that you deserve or you're entitled to a tip just because. Too many people, in my experience these days, just think it's all part of the bill. If your bill is $25, you got to throw in another, you know, $8 or whatever it is for a tip. It's understood. It's understood that's what you're going to do. No, it's not understood. It has to be worked for, you know. I can't really remember many times in my life where I left no tip. Because despite all of my bellyache in here, I always leave a tip. But not because I feel like, well, gee, the poor person is working here, they're not making much. But I do it because I like the service, I appreciate it, and in some cases, because just like with an auto mechanic, you don't want them screwing up your car. I don't want anybody screwing up my order, so I'll tip you for the next time. But some things to think about here, everybody. Later.